Welcome back to Open Up. We'd like to thank our sponsors for making our show possible today.
Oh, yes.
Nature's Food Market and Juice Bar, Don, first of all, so delicious. They've provided our drinks again today.
And some wonderful businesses standing with
Yes.
us. Take it away. I've got a
Colon Therapy Center, Janet Eileen Mitchell over at Callaway and Brimhall, Gentle Hydrotherapy Colonics, BakersfieldColonics.com. Thank you so much. And
Cruise Through Car Wash, just 5 minutes or less. You're in, you're out. You've got a great car wash, and you're on your way. 5 locations here in town, a couple more over the hill in Lancaster, so take advantage. I sure do with my black car every day.
Yes, and we thank our friends over at Kern Construction and Electric Incorporated. That's Robert Miller, longtime resident of Bakersfield. Robert delights in remodeling your home and businesses, and he can be contacted at 661-322-5554. Thank you, Robert.
Well, this is a show of remarkable women.
Yes,
it?
yes.
You included, you first of all. But also we have with us Cher Parnell,
Yes.
who is giving leadership to a whole section of our city called Oildale. Cher, first of all, tell us your reaction to what you just heard with Dolores Huerta and Juana here.
Well, I love meeting strong women.
Come up to the mic.
I love meeting strong women. And she's definitely a strong woman. She is so articulate. I worked in Delano when just after the strikes that the UFW put on very successfully. I saw the improvement in the community. I saw the improvement in people's lives. I saw improvement in pregnancies, in prenatal care, in students going to college. And she's much responsible for that. And one person doesn't do it all, but she did a lot. And
coordinating and organizing.
The speed of the leaders, the speed of the gang, and she was one of the leaders.
Well, you're doing a lot now in our city, in the community of Oildale, which is considered kind of one of the troubled areas of our community, and yet there's a lot going on of an incredibly positive nature. Walk us through what's happening in that part of the city.
Well, do you want me to start with the positive aspects here?
Sure.
Okay. And I was writing that down because that's one of the things that you need to do when you start working with the community is tell them and ask them what do they love about their community. And because we can't come in as a parent and just say, this is what you need. Tell us what you like first. And so we've got after-school programs. Both Beardsley and Standard School have Boys and Girls Club 5 days a week, 100 children per school. There are 8 total schools with those 2 school districts. There's a waiting list to get onto the after-school program. It's been very, very successful. And we're so glad to have them. I think Standard is in their 3rd year. Beardsley is starting their 1st year with that. So that can only lead to improvement in behavior, in school scores, in school completion, and just satisfaction with life. So those are 2 things. We have some great after-school programs that churches and faith-based have started. Calvary Bible Church has a very nice one called Say Yes. That's a nationwide organization. And their program was among the very top several years ago. I haven't had an update, but I have no reason to believe it's changed at all. It's a very well-run program. And they bus the children from Standard School to go to that.
Really?
Yes. And they're getting some of the parents to come in to celebrate recovery and to services at the church. So that's a holistic type of endeavor. And then there's another nonprofit on Roberts Lane called LIFT, and that's an acronym for a Bible verse. I don't know what it is. I don't remember it. But it's a group of about people from 8 different churches have come together.
Really?
And they've been on Roberts Lane for about 6 years now. They started out in a tent with a space heater year-round. When it was cold and when it was hot, they were still outside. They now have just leased a building at 325 Roberts Lane, and they're fixing it up. It still looks a little rough on the outside, but the outside's getting great, and they're ready to move in.
And what will that do? What will happen in that building?
Well, in that building, and they've been in this building before. They had to vacate it because of some structural problems, but they will do what they call a homework club. They prefer to call it that, and I think that's about 3 days a week. And the leader of that is a retired math instructor from Cal State, so it's very well led. They have ladies' Bible study, men's Bible studies, a Tuesday evening dinner for people of the community come. Before, they had a 6-week summer program for kindergarten readiness, which is so needed in Oildale. There are so free preschools for the children. And they've had GED completion. And they worked with Bakersfield Adult School to do that. And they actually rewrote some of the program to customize it for the people who came. They partner with Flood to bring in a portable shower for people who live in areas where they don't have a shower. There are those areas.
There's a lot going
There's
on there.
a lot going on there, and it's a wonderful ministry. I can't say enough for them.
These Bible studies, Sherry, are they multiplying? Are they growing? And the reason I ask is I remember Lincoln's phrase, it's impossible to enslave a Bible-reading people and enslave to drugs or any other, oppressive
that's
force.
excellent.
What do you see there?
Well, I don't know numbers on that, and I don't fudge numbers, so I won't even guess. But I know this. They've been in that little area. It's a trailer park behind there and some apartments for 6 years now. They know the people know them, they love them, they trust them. The people of Lyft show so much love to these people, it's heartening to see it. I mean, the people are glad to see the Lyft personnel come in.
And what a great acronym, LIFT.
Yes, it is great. So I love what they're doing. We've got Saturday sports, 3 Saturdays a month at Standard School, and that's part of every neighborhood partnership. They've been in Oildale about 4 or 5 years now, and it is a nonprofit. They were in other schools. They just need churches to come forward and say, yes, we'll take 1 Saturday a month, and they can expand to other schools.
Cher, I've got to ask you a personal question. I mean, you're such an accomplished woman. You would succeed in any field you went into at a very high level, and yet your heart, your energies have been drawn to Oildale, a place that could be very discouraging at the outset. What drew you there, and what's kept you there?
Yes.
What a key question, Dawn, because this is the story. As a child, I lived in Oildale. My father taught at Standard School. We moved to Oildale when I was kindergarten age. I started Beardsley 2 years at Beardsley, and then 3 years at Standard before we moved out of Bakersfield. And it was a nice, safe, friendly little town. I walked from Highland Manor, which is probably 2 miles, to the library by myself in the summer to get books. And you can't do that now. There are too many problems in Oildale. So my husband and I lived in Southwest Bakersfield. We moved to the northwest part of Bakersfield about 25 years ago, and I would drive up Norris Road to go to the health department to work. I was a public health nurse. And I could see the devastation that drugs had done to Oildale. I could see the deterioration of families and property. And every day as I drive Norris Road, I'd pray and I'd talk to God, and I say, God, when are you going to do something about Oildale? When are you going to
know the answer.
Every day I was like, the widow. I kept pounding on his door. God, when are you going to do this? And then one day I had an epiphany. I said, oh, maybe I'm part of the answer.
Yes.
And so then I began to just think, how could I get into something? How could I make a connection? I thought, well, do I join a service club, or do I join a women's club, or what do I do? And I was still kind of debating. I retired from the health department, and an old friend of mine, Glenda Martin, who was principal of Standard Elementary School, had just written a $5 million grant, 5-year grant that encompassed Standard School, Beardsley School, and all the continuation schools in the Bakersfield area. And she called me and she said, Cher, you have a heart for Oildale. Would you like to come to a faith-based group of people who meet in our office? You're not part of the grant. We're just allowing you some space to meet once a month, and we're doing something. I said, I'd love to. So I went, and about 30 or 40 people would be there from all over. And that went on for several months. I was so impressed with it. We did some cleanup things, and Glenda was part of this. And then Glenda had left her principal job so she could administer the grant. And then an opportunity came up. She had applied for Director of Education for Standard School District, and she was going to take that. So she told me that confidentially. So I'm pretty bold. Well, that's a nice word for it. And I said,
What's
Glenda,
the other word?
pushy.
All right.
Okay. So I said to Glenda, will you still be head of this faith-based group? And she said, oh, no, I won't be able to do that. And I said, well, if you're looking for someone to head it up, I will do it. And what I start, I finish.
Wow.
She said, okay, I'll get back to you. Well, she didn't get back to me for about a month, and I thought, I guess I didn't pass muster. Okay, Lord, maybe something else. But she came back after a month. She said, are you still serious? I said, yes. So I went in as the director of that, and we kind of reorganized it a little bit, made a board, and we've completed our nonprofit status now. And Karen Go was in a meeting with us. We still didn't have a name. And I was part of Kern Leadership Alliance, and I thought, why don't we call it Oildale Leadership Alliance? Because it's not a pastoral group.
Right.
It's a group of interested people, and pastors too. But
Right.
So I said, what do you think about Oildale Leadership? And Karen spoke up and she said, that is a great name. I'm going to go talk to my brother and see what we can do. So we are officially the first area affiliate of Kern Leadership Alliance.
Well,
Excellent.
They've given us support in email, all kinds of stuff.
Yes.
well, we've certainly heard the good. Now
Yes.
let's hear the bad.
Ooh.
And there's some very serious problems there. Very
Yes,
serious.
yeah. When we come back, thank you for staying with us.